only killing one shoe rather than two. He killed one shoe and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think from guys, yeah, that is yeah, I do. And that's like the side that we don't.
Sorry guys, I'm streaming from my phone, so I can't see any of the chats at the moment. So I'm not going to be able to respond directly to you guys, but I'm going to walk around for a little while. I don't know how long I'll be able to stay up, but I don't know if the weather's going to get much worse. It looked pretty bad about 20 minutes ago, but there's Madison Square Garden. The Knicks won tonight, by the way, 5th straight win. For any of you that have my private number, can you hear me talking right now?
Hey, can you tell me where I can buy cigarettes out here?
I don't know. So I'm probably just gonna make my way to Times Square and take a loop around there and then loop back. But I'll try to hopefully get some nice shots for you guys. I don't really have the experience that Gabe does, but I shall do my best. I'm sorry that I can't interact with you guys with the chat. I know that we're working on that for me. But I'm on the low budget version of the streaming. So. It's raining. pretty heavily for New York. And the winds are supposed to be really bad right now. So far, it's nothing crazy. I don't know if that's gonna pick up. I heard that it was pretty bad in the Bronx. And I'm just assuming that you guys can hear me. I'm not actually sure. Yeah, but it looks like the winds were bad at some point. There's a downed garbage can over here. Coming up. New York has always been very beautiful at nighttime. And Gabe usually goes to bed pretty early, so I told him I would come out tonight so you guys can see the rainstorm. It's supposed to be a tornado, but I doubt that in Manhattan we'll be able to see anything that good. And bear with me, I have a pretty big umbrella that is blowing around in the wind, so it's a little difficult to control. Yeah, the wind is definitely blowing. At this time, most of the stores are either closed or closing. A lot of the nightlife is still happening, but in this area it's not really too significant. Maybe next time I'll go downtown for you guys so you can see the Lower East Side at night. But Midtown at night is nothing special. It's a little sketchy, if anything. That's why I'm not out at 2 in the morning, because it's a little dangerous. But over here, there's definitely enough people around that I don't think anything bad would happen. You guys can kind of see the rain, I think. I don't know how good the image quality is on my phone, but hopefully it's not too bad. And I don't have the gyroscope thing, so you gotta bear with me bobbing up and down while I walk. Trying my best to keep it stable and still. It's not a bad neighborhood. There's a lot to do generally at night. But 8th Avenue is kind of notoriously probably one of the sketchier places in Manhattan at this time, with Port Authority and Penn Station within such close proximity of each other. Usually those travel centers are a hub for debauchery and homelessness. City bike stations all over. You usually take those around the city. They're pretty cheap, actually cheaper than the metro over here if you do it properly. And you guys will also hear a lot of garbage trucks probably tonight. They usually start at about 10 and go all the way up until 3, 4 in the morning. So depending on what street we walk down. But it's pretty, right? Although the traffic lights reflecting off of the water on the ground, it's definitely beautiful. I always think that New York looks the best in the rain and in the snow. And it's actually substantially warmer than it has been because it's raining. For some reason the city picks up, I think the water actually releases the heat from the ground and it warms up the air a little bit, so I'm actually able to walk around without any gloves on right now, which is pretty cool. Although my feet are already soaking wet. I'm a Converse wearer, so canvas and water don't really mix very well together. Heading towards 42nd Street, and I'll probably do a quick loop around Times Square for you guys, and then maybe walk up 7th Avenue back towards my area. Yeah, we're coming up to Port Authority right now. So definitely one of the sketchier, if not the sketchiest part of Midtown. This is the famed 42nd Street coming up. This is actually the Port Authority right here. For those of you who don't know. Got Schnippers right across the street. You want a burger? And then all the Broadway houses are right around here as well. And I'm a big Broadway fan. I try to watch as many as I can. Just saw Spamalot for the first time a couple weeks ago. It was pretty funny. I definitely recommend it. Got the Microsoft store over there. And here's the other entrance for Port Authority. I wish I could see the chat so I could interact with you guys a little bit. It's kind of weird just talking without anything to respond to, but I'll try my best. It's actually surprisingly a lot more people out right now than I thought, considering how bad the rain is. But then again, it is New York, and everybody does go out at night. So this is actually 42nd Street right here, so I might actually walk down and around for you guys. Since it's pretty with all the lighting. Harry Potter's over there, the musical. I saw that. I thought the special effects were pretty good. But the storyline I wasn't a big fan of. Then we got Madame Tussauds, big tourist trap here. I think in most major cities there's one, and sometimes you fall for it and spend your money. But generally it's not worth it. Big Dallas barbecue. I remember during the blackout, that was one of the few places that stayed open. And we went, me and Gabe actually, and a couple of other of our childhood friends went over there to get food as like the first post-blackout meetup. And a couple of us got pretty sick because I don't think everything was refrigerated properly, obviously. Dave & Buster's. Gone there a bunch. I was like going to the arcades. They actually have a much cooler old school arcade bar called Barcade here in the city that I like to go to every now and then. Actually went last week with Gabe. Played some good games. Kind of like it more. It's a little more chill. Dave & Buster's feels more contrived and a little more like media specific. Lion King, one of the longer running Broadway shows. Possibly the longest. I'm not sure if this or Wicked has been going on longer. And then the subway hub, one of the big subway focal points here in New York. I think everybody has gotten off at this Times Square stop at least once in their life. Even if they visited, they've probably come right out here at some point. Here, I'll go this way. This is actually where we were on New Year's Eve. We were right over there, right across the street from the Hard Rock Cafe. And to be honest, it was pretty cool. I mean, you know, I've never been that close to seeing the ball drop, and it really wasn't that bad. We were fortunate with how we got over there, but it was definitely an experience. I saw this comparison on Instagram of the year 2000 ball drop versus the year 2023 or 2024, and everyone looked miserable this year compared to 2000 when we thought the world was going to end and it didn't. So I understand that. Plus, I don't think 2023 was that great of a year for a lot of us. the Hard Rock Cafe. This used to actually be WWE New York back in the day. I don't know if there's any wrestling fans out there, but I used to try to come here at least once a year to watch some kind of wrestling event and get the WWE burger, which was delicious. A long time ago. Over 25 years almost now. And I believe this Gap / Old Navy is where Toys R Us used to be. Maybe not. I don't know which block are we, 44th? No, I guess it's the next block. But we used to have a giant Toys R Us. They had a big Ferris wheel inside, which was pretty awesome. That closed down a couple of years back as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the good stuff is closed over the past 10 years. They're really trying hard to gentrify New York, and they're losing a lot of the nostalgia and neighborhood feeling that they used to have. Looks very corporate and industrial now versus homey and like an old city. That's why I still like the Lower East Side so much, because it's one of the few remaining old school New York places. But got a pub over there, the Museum of Broadway. I've actually never been there. I'm not even sure if I noticed it before, but now I want to go see it. And this is the famous tickets place where you can get the discounted Broadway tickets, last minute deals, same day shows. It's actually still not even that cheap. It's still kind of expensive, but sometimes you get lucky. Broadway in general is very expensive. I will say Broadway week is the time to do it. You get 2-for-1 tickets, so pretty much a half price ticket, which isn't so bad. That's generally when I try to load up and take advantage, see 1 or 2 shows. Although the past couple of times I've just done it the old-fashioned way. We got Sweeney Todd over there. It looks like they brought the Wiz back. My shoes are soaked. Soaking wet. Nobody's at home to put a blanket on me later, so I'm upset. Chicago, that's actually one of the longer running ones too. Maybe that takes the cake. 1996? No, I think Lion King came out in 94, so still got a beat. And thanks everyone for whoever's watching for watching so late at night. I hope I'm doing an alright job for you guys. And I really thought that the weather was going to be a lot crazier. They said that it was, they said that it was going to be a tornado. But so far, it's really not so bad. Krispy Kreme. They're pretty popular here in New York. They're in most of the supermarkets as well. Sorry guys, I'm just struggling with the umbrella a little bit. The wind, every time it blows, tries to take me with it. Gabe told me not to bring an umbrella, but I thought that was a little crazy because it's probably the worst rain that we've had in kind of a while. Trying to avoid slipping. Got the Hard Rock over there. Pretty nice tattoo place. I think we're gonna walk up this way though. Pretty happy. It doesn't look like too much water is getting on the camera, so I think it looks okay. I hope so. And if it doesn't, well, too bad. I'm in the rain, so it is what it is. I think I'm making pretty decent time, so maybe I'll walk you guys up a couple of extra blocks before turning back. Now, I'm not adverse to doing later night streams, but I do have work tomorrow, so it has to be on a non-work day. Got a nice Playwright pub right over there. It's a pretty awesome spot. Back to the Future, the new musical. Book of Mormon over there, Chicago. Back to the Future I actually saw in its London run before it came over here, and that too had pretty good special effects, and obviously we all know the storyline. Some of the songs were a little funny, but all in all it was pretty good. The ending was amazing with the DeLorean. Comes out at the end, actually like floats up in the stage, flies around. It's pretty cool. Applebee's, I don't know if you guys like it. I always thought it was okay. Nothing crazy. There's Radio City down there. Maybe I'll walk you guys by that actually. Another popular tourist spot here in the city. I'm sure Gabe walked you all by the tree at some point at Rockefeller Center. And mind me when I walk a little slower. Some of the gratings on the floor are pretty slippery, and I saw what happened to Gabe the other day, so I don't want to be a casualty. He's fine, by the way. And he probably fell in one of the safer places in New York to slip with not too much foot traffic at the time. You see, this is like a death trap right here with these grates, so I'm gonna walk in between them. See more garbage trucks doing their thing. It's the garbage hour here in New York. And a lot of these places still have their holiday lights up, which is really nice. They usually keep them up until about February 1st. And then city goes into Valentine's Day mode and restaurant week and all that jazz. We're coming up to Radio City Music Hall and the NBC studios, which are pretty popular places, at least for the tourists. As native New Yorkers, you don't really go as much, but I have been to Radio City a few times, especially for the Rockettes. During the Christmas shows. Once every couple of years I'll try to go check them out. And then NBC Studios, when NBC was at its height with Friends and even 30 Rock, sometimes I would go to look at the merchandise. This is actually pretty nice over here. So I don't know how much stuff is actually open at this point, but I'm gonna take a loop around this block and then probably walk back downtown a little. And once again, I apologize that I can't see the chats. We were working on getting it, but there were some weird permission settings that I wasn't able to get past today. But that should be fixed next time I do this for you. So I hope you're all having a good night, and I hope that you all had a great New Year's and holiday season. Hopefully 2024 is a wonderful year for us all. It's so funny, this is usually the one of the probably two most crowded areas of the city during the daytime, and right now it's like a complete ghost town. There's NBC Studios. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there's nobody here. The observation deck. I'm sure you guys have heard of Top of the Rock. There's a nice restaurant up there, I believe, as well. Now the wind does actually seem to be picking up a little bit. The rain's subsiding though, so I don't know if that's a sign that things are about to get a little more crazy, or if this storm is actually passing. But they said between 11 and 1 it would be at its worst. Oh, here actually, guys, there's the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree still up. I can go and take a peek to see if any of the ice skaters are still actually out or not. I doubt it. The music's still playing, which is cool. Now it looks like they're down. Actually, that's very cool. The ice skating rink looks like a little pool right now. There's a bunch of water on top of it, so it looks like a swimming pool, like a not very well maintained swimming pool. But for anyone who didn't get to see it, it's a beautiful tree. They usually actually make the tree look nicer by sprucing it up with parts of other dead trees, and kind of like a McDonald's hamburger in a commercial, making it look perfect. But it is quite the sight. Very beautiful. And I believe we have St. Patrick's Cathedral over here coming up, so I'll show you guys that. Hopefully they have some nice lighting on it at night. But yeah, once again, it's completely quiet right now, and it's generally so hard to walk through at this time of year with so many people trying to see that tree. Can't believe we're already almost halfway through January. It feels like 2 days ago that I was watching the ball drop. So here we go. St. Patrick's. I'm gonna go in the street a little bit since there's no cars or anything. And then this is actually right where Saks Fifth Avenue's Christmas display usually is. I'll show you. It's obviously off now because of the time of night, but it's a beautiful piece of architecture. Probably one of the prettiest buildings in New York City. And then there's Saks Fifth Avenue. You can see the front of it is still adorned with the cool clock, the Zodiac clock up there. I'm a Libra, for anyone that's wondering. I'm sure you could tell. And then this is kind of the spot that you see on the news all the time, and where thousands of people usually congregate to try to check out the tree. It's not my cup of tea when there's that many people. It's difficult to navigate. I guess it depends on the scenario, but here in the city, unfortunately, a lot of tourists don't always have the most pleasant dispositions. It's funny that New Yorkers get a bad rap, but for the most part, all the native New Yorkers that I know are very pleasant and very sweet and kind and nice and personable. But there's a lot of transplants, and they're not always the same way. I think the stress of the city gets to them sometimes. You know, life's tough. It's not easy living here. Super expensive. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. The rain is It's consistent, but it's not picking up. I don't think we're gonna see any massive tornado, which is unfortunate because I was very much looking forward to spotting one and trying to throw my phone right in the center of it, see where it lands, but it's not gonna happen. And again, I don't have the gyroscope for the phone, so pardon my bouncing around, especially now that I'm in the rain with wet feet. I'm kind of stepping a little heavier. So hopefully I'm steadying this enough so no one gets motion sickness. The gimbal. Sorry guys, the gimbal. But yeah, I'm not opposed to doing these night streams every now and then, especially in the neighborhoods that have larger populations at night, so I don't get murdered. Not that that really happens, but it can. This is Little Brazil. There's like 2 churrascarias over here. I think that's the only reason it's called Little Brazil, but it is what it is. And they are pretty good. Churrascarias are awesome. You eat a ton of meat. So much meat that it makes you swell. You get the meat sweats. So much salt. It's amazing. I highly recommend trying it once if you're not suffering from any kind of medical condition. And right now we're actually on 5th Avenue. I didn't plan on walking this far east, but it feels like while talking to you guys, time passes by a lot faster. I guess when you have a purpose while you're walking, it makes walking a little less thought-provoking. Have the NBA store over there. I hope some of you guys are basketball fans. And what I'll do, I'll probably walk toward Herald Square, 34th Street, and walk up there, and then end somewhere around there. Now you're gonna see one of the older clocks in New York. There used to be a bunch of these special street clocks right under here, under the scaffolding. They used to be all over the city and actually very cool and ornate generally, but most of them, just like the phone booths, have been torn down, taken down, moved. So there's only a few left, I believe. And I think that most of them are here in this Herald Square-ish area. I don't really know. I can't remember the history on these. I used to know it. But a lot of that knowledge has left my brain. As I'm sure you guys can see when me and Gabe do our drinking escapades while playing games. A lot of my brain cells have died from that. but I used to be a pretty knowledgeable guy at some point. And again, thanks everybody for bearing with me tonight. It's kind of cool though, doing this in the rain at night. Got a Grand Central Terminal down there in the middle. It's a little difficult to see from here, but the shorter building right in between those other two buildings. Big safe door. It's kind of cool. I would walk you guys up here, but I don't know if they partitioned it off for any specific reason. But this is actually the New York Public Library. And you can see the lions over here. I'll show you. I believe you can see this in one of the opening scenes of Ghostbusters, the original, 1984. Great movie. The fourth sequel to the original film, the third sequel, I guess, to the original film is coming out very shortly. It's another beautiful building. And the inside is even more spectacular, honestly. They have a very cool old school newspaper room where you can pull up 200-year-old papers and sit and read through them. It's pretty awesome. I definitely recommend anybody that's watching this that isn't from New York, you should definitely take a trip over here and see some of this stuff. So guys, the rain is actually, it has picked up again. And I think my feet are like prunes right now, but it's also pretty nice. I'm a big fan of the rain, so it doesn't really bother me too much. Let me get a back shot of this for you guys. It's pretty cool how peaceful the city can be at this time. And there's not too much traffic. I'm sure you see sometimes on Gabe's earlier streams how much congestion there is in the city. It's so bad, it's almost as bad as LA, but at night there's nothing. You get home in 15 minutes from pretty much anywhere in Manhattan, really no matter where you are, as long as, you know, in Manhattan. The outer boroughs maybe a little more, but it's not so bad. And the trains aren't so bad at night either. They're a little scarier, but Definitely not as claustrophobic. And there's so much history. Most of these buildings, anything that's pre 1950, has some really good history. A lot of these places have awesome ghost stories and haunting stories. I think finally a little water got on the lens over here, so let me try to fix that for you guys. There you go. But yeah, lots of haunting stories. There's some really cool haunting stories with the Flatiron Building and the Empire State Building. I don't know if any of you believe in ghosts and ghouls, but I definitely am fond of the stories. I actually think we're low enough that we'll get a good shot of the Empire State Building in a second. Hopefully it's nice and foggy and the coloring looks cool. And everyone, I just noticed that my my shoelace has come undone, so I'm going to tie that as soon as I get under that scaffolding, so bear with me. I have Peter Dillon's. It's a really nice pub. I actually went there with Des once, I believe, to watch a soccer game. Back when the World Cup was happening. I think it was that place. Alright, so bear with me. I'm just going to tie my shoe really quickly. Alright, we're back on the move. Thanks, everyone. Bravo Pizza. They used to be pretty good. Now I think that they've kind of turned into some of the shittier, crappier pizza. Where are we? We're on 35th. Alright, so we should be right next to the Empire right now. Try to get you guys a nice little peek at that. With the rain falling on it, it should look pretty. And then I'll actually walk up 34th Street, so maybe we can actually see Macy's as well for you guys. I don't know what you want to see. I can't see any chats. Once again, I apologize for that, but I'm doing my best. So here we go. Right underneath the Empire State Building. It's pretty awesome. It is very tall once you get next to it. A little hard to tell when you're further away, but King Kong climbed that. It's a very majestic looking building and probably my favorite New York City building, all in all. Plane actually crashed into it, I think in 1935, I want to say, somewhere around there. But it was strong enough. It was a small little plane, and I think it did some damage, but obviously the building's a pretty tough son of a gun. So. And 34th Street, I used to love coming over here. This was kind of like a, you know, when you're 12 years old and you can finally start exploring the city a little bit without your parents holding your hand. This was one of the spots that we were allowed to come over to. They had a mall, a pretty substantial mall. It still exists, Manhattan Mall. I think that's still what it's called too, but now it's rinky-dink, you know, 3 floors. It used to be like 8 floors with a giant food court at the top. It's really nice. KB Toy Store, Funko Land. There was some really cool stuff in there. So we used to like to go around this area. They had like a old antique shop a couple of blocks down that sold antique Pez dispensers, and me and one of my friends actually used to collect those. Super nerdy, but they were very cool. I think I still have a lot of them. Should look into maybe putting them up on eBay or Mercari or something like that. But yeah, 34th Street, it used to be pretty cool, and now it's kind of like most of Midtown, just very cookie cutter. Tons of shops, very touristy, less personality than it used to have. But we're coming up on Macy's, and actually looks like Toys R Us has a pop-up shop in there, which is pretty cool. So it's nice to see Toys R Us still existing in some fashion. Obviously used to go to Toys R Us a lot too. That was one of our first stomping ground locations on 14th Street, actually, Union Square location. But it used to take us a couple of minutes to walk over there, so I think every Saturday we would try to go, and me and my friends would, or me and a friend would try to buy a Star Wars toy a week back in like 95. $5.40 plus tax back then. Now it's like $20 for a toy. But back then, a little bit of lunch money went a long way. There's another one of those clocks over there. And I actually think there might be a nice one somewhere here in front of Macy's. I could have taken it down, but if memory serves, there's one somewhere here. And they got K-Town, Koreatown, 2 blocks over. That's actually usually, honestly, let's go over there, because that usually has a pretty nice nightlife, so we'll probably see a bunch more people than over here. And it looks like Macy's took down a lot of their displays, so I don't think it's really worth taking the trip over there. But K-Town might be cool. See some hustle and bustle. Plus there's this nice little garden patio type thing that I want to walk through. I got ping pong tables out here during the warmer weather. A lot of people play. You see some excellent ping pong players. And the rain's still fairly consistent, guys. The wind, however, has died back down, so isn't that pretty with the reflection? It's very nice. And then this is the little patio. No cars here, so. If you come to New York, definitely check out K-Town. The Korean barbecue places are amazing, John Grow in particular. Save money though. They are expensive. As is everything. So if you do plan a trip, make sure you save up for a while if you want to have the best experience. Try to pre-buy tickets for things and so we're almost back at Madison Square Garden now. I lied to you all and skipped K-Town. It's right over there. But it doesn't look like too much is happening. So let's go down let's go down this street, walk by Penn Station and Madison Square Garden from the front. And then I'm about an hour in, and that's what I said my cutoff would be for tonight in the rain. So I'll get you guys a couple of more blocks and then say goodbye. And they have those little meat shop cart guys, the halal guys, the hot dog guys. Those guys never sleep. They're always out on the corners pretty much all night long. You could find somebody or something to eat, something to drink. That is the one really cool thing about New York. Even if it's 3 in the morning, you're not asked out. You can definitely find something somewhere pretty easily to fill your belly, or even just a place to go if you're not from here, or you get locked out of your house or something. It's not dire straits and you're not sitting in the cold. Same thing with transportation. It runs all night long. It's pretty convenient for the most part. Alright guys, just bear with me. I'm avoiding breaking my neck. See, normally I don't care about the gradient, but when you wear Converses, they literally have no traction, and it's kind of like stepping on ice. So this is actually the front of Penn Station, also the front entrance of Madison Square Garden. So if you're going to see the Rangers or the Knicks or Billy Joel or anything at this venue, you would enter right up here. When we get to the corner of the block, you'll see. I think we've passed 10 or 12 Starbucks already, and I've only walked kind of a 20 block square, so you can see how oversaturated New York is with Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. But yeah, right here, you would cross over if you're going to the Garden, if you're gonna go see WrestleMania. It looks kind of crappy right now. They're doing so much construction, but it's pretty nice, honestly. Inside is nice. I think I have one more block in me, so I'll take you back where we started, in front of MSG, the pretty side, the actual Garden Dome. But you can see there's actually there's still a lot of people that don't really care that it's raining, even though it is a pretty significant rainstorm for the city. Our first one of 2024. And this is actually the side path, so to the right over here is the Garden, and oh man, I just walked through the biggest puddle. I'm soaked. But yeah, to the right, the Garden entrance for like the VIPs and the pros. They can drive in right over here, next to this parking structure coming up. I'll show you. And that Trax Oyster Bar, they're pretty good too. Got dollar oysters, and they do, if you want to come but you can't afford going to a game, you can go in there, and they usually play both Rangers and Knicks games, which is pretty cool. And you can get some oysters and some good drinks. But yeah, right here, this is kind of the VIP entrance for the Garden, so most of the professionals and stuff will come drive right over here into that hallway. I've seen Wally Zerbiak, former Timberwolf player, current Knicks announcer. I've seen him here many times. I don't think he minds being seen. And then I'll show you guys the new Moynihan station in the nighttime as well. So they transformed one of New York's older post offices into this massive extension of Penn Station, and made all these new trackways and entrances, and pretty much an underground shop, you know, it looks pretty, as does most of New York in the night. There, the Moynihan Train Hall. There's words, and it has the neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night, the post office worker code, which I've always thought is very cool. City stream one of these days soon when I have some time. But everyone, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for